so as a result, it was an actual rescue or a resurrection. Now, one of the keys here is, and C. Freeman L. used to talk about that, the great master C. Freeman L., that, you know, when you have a violent accident, it was an explosion, or even car wrecks or certain things, you can get, your astral body can get separated from your physical body so fast until you don't know you're dead. You don't know you're dead. So as a result, these girls used to be, people would ride by and they'd just be standing up in the window. So in so many words, we resurrected these particular girls. We resurrected these girls, went through the holidays, but before that, we resurrected them on the 12th. On the 16th, we went to go see a horse show called Cavalia, and they had 8 white horses, and they had several other array of horses. It was unbelievable, but the white horse represents the god Kalki. Kalki is the last avatar of Vishnu, and that particular god, he comes in the realm of Sagittarius. That's where we were at the time, on the 16th and of December. Now this is a couple of days after Birmingham. Birmingham was on the 12th. And so Kalki is the god of resurrection. Now that's very key, because when I go into some other things, a certain thing happened to me that in turn has a lot to do with the god Kalki. Kalki, he's called Kalki in India. It's the last resurrection of Vishnu, Vishnu being the Christ figure, the Horus figure of India. The last resurrection is the god Kalki. In the Buddhist manifestation of Buddha, the last manifestation of the Buddhist system is Lord Maitreya, same entity. And he's called several things, so that same last manifestation is also different forms of Horus and different forms of deities that is to come. So that Lord Maitreya information. So the god Kalki, the white horse, represented Kalki. Now it's interesting because it was a guy that came from India in 2008 he came from India to America, to Atlanta, when I was in London. And he came to bring the information of the god Kalki, because it said it was a prophecy in their system that they would have to come to the West and bring the information of the knowledge to Kalki to the African Americans. So when you had that Cavalia horse show with something like, 5 to 6 or 8 white horses come to Atlanta, it also represented the rise of Kalki. It was very key. So moving right along. Right. The resurrection of the four sisters, which is also the resurrection of the 4 goddesses. Now, the day that those particular sisters was resurrected in Birmingham, Alabama, the movie The Princess and the Frog came out. Now, it's a deadly thing to turn the black woman into the frog, because when they turned her into the frog, that represents the goddess Hecate. And the goddess Hecate is this particular frog-head deity in in Egypt. And her job, now check this out, her job is to turn the old goddesses into the new goddesses. Now, very key, what we're talking about here, because this is very key, what we're talking about here, is when we go into this stuff, we're going to follow this stuff right up to this particular hour, because there's been some transformation that happened. So now, her job was to turn the old goddesses into new goddesses, and that's what happened. Remember I told the goddesses, I say, come and resurrect these girls, and they in turn will resurrect you. And that's an alchemical process. Remember I talked about that the angelic host came in last year in 2009, and I said the angelic host is coming through, and they need our light to resurrect them, because they're all deities. So they need our light, which is a new light, because it has been shut down in darkness so long until it is fermented as the wine, the vine, the light, the Christ light. which is in everyone. So,
right.
So I said they in turn, those particular angelic hosts, need our light to be resurrected. And as a result, in a symbiotic relationship, they resurrect us. Now remember, angels and gods, some civilization call them angels, some civilization call them gods. They're all the same. Now, moving right along. So, those new deities, those new girls, and the goddesses were mauled together as a resurrection. As a result, they raised up the four sons of Horus, which is the four winds, and all that bad weather we had up north, even had some snow twice down here in Atlanta. All that bad weather we had this year was those rising of the four sons of Horus, which leads us to the new year. So the first thing happens on the 8th, they tell me to shut down the website, and people freak, you know.
Yes, they did, Brother Bobby.
So we, and so to shut down the website, and in the whole Haitian thing, and then all of a sudden, but one of the blizzards that happened in December canceled my lecture in Baltimore. So that lecture had to be rescheduled. It had to be rescheduled for January the 16th, which is a couple of days after the Haiti incident. So now, moving to that, this is one of the keys. So we go into January 16th. That day in Baltimore, the first thing happened was, let me go back. That Friday, I started getting a little sick. So I had to get on the psychic horn and the spiritual telepathic waves to find out what the fuck is going on. I feel this energy. It was only for a few minutes with it, but it was like, well, look, these Haitian spirits are very angry, some of them, because they were the same spirits that helped fight in the Haitian Revolution. Very powerful entities. And it was like, well, you have to do something. So so as a result, later on that night, they came through and said, well, about a year ago, you put on the top hat as Baron Samedi. And went into lectures and did what you had to do, and you did the whole thing on Baron Samedi. Now, as a result, you put on the hat, you got to do the ceremony. It's just like the movie, the Santa Claus movie. You put on the suit, you Santa Claus. So I went to Baltimore, and as a result, we had to go through a major ceremony. It's on the internet. One of those. It's on one of the DVD versions, and had to do a major ceremony. And as a result, I had to call out over 100 deities. I have a Bobby Hemmitt's DVD list that's also available, and it has well over 100-something deities. So we're going to inquire about that when we go to the infomercial in a few minutes. But anyway, so as a result, I had to call out the major deities with the top hat, and all of the fixings, had the Haitian music, had all of this. And as a result, I said, what we're going to do, we're going to start with the lowers, and we're going to call out these other deities known to man. And on those particular deities, after we call them out, what's going to happen here is we want you gods to resurrect these souls, as in turn, they resurrect you. So this was not a eulogy that went on. This was a coming together of the souls. And I almost sprang my jaw calling out so many deities. As a result, the next day, I was still in Baltimore. They say, you ain't going to New York to do this lecture next week. And I said, oh, yeah, well, okay then. And as a result, Baba Nu calls and said they got some discrepancy. They had a little feud between him and the sister, what have you, and that was my key to say, we're going to scrap that. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because I knew then that the spirit, they told me in the day before I was supposed to fly out, they told me, no, you're not. So as a result, we had to shut that down. So as a result, they said, well, you know, you're going to have to take a little break. You're not going to do no lecture. Kalki. Kalki is the last avatar of Vishnu. And that particular god, he comes in the realm of Sagittarius. That's where we were at the time on the 16th and of December. Now this is or even car wrecks or certain things. You can get your astral body can get separated from your physical body so fast until you don't know you're dead. You don't know you're dead. So as a result, these girls used to be, people would ride by and they'd just be standing up in the window. So in so many words, we resurrected these particular girls. We resurrected these girls, went through the holidays, but before that, we resurrected them on the 12th. On the 16th, we went to go see a horse show called Cavalia. And they had 8 white horses, and they had several other array of horses. It was unbelievable, but the white horse represents the god Kano, and so as a result, it was an actual rescue or resurrection. Now, one of the keys here is, and C. Freeman L. used to talk about that, the great master C. Freeman L., that, you know, when you have a violent death and it was an explosion,